Let's try it a second time. You said female character, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And Easter Bunny, woo!
Yeah, Easter Bunny is still the file name. So, then we have to just to count on RNG that we don't get screwed up in the RNG, so the run won't take that long. I actually fixed the issue we had, and now we can start the run properly in 3, 2, 1, go. Yes, we just pretend this just did not happen.
What happened?
I don't know. Tell me.
I don't know what happened. You're confusing me. You're just playing this game the first time.
Yeah, technically. So, okay, what actually happened was I need to freeze the game for a glitch, and we normally do it by by shooting out multiple screenshots. We use the print screen button and we hold it down, so the game wants to do a screenshot every single frame. And that's too much for the CPU of my PC. However, here for the marathon setting we're just recording in 720p. And the 720p screenshots do not put that much load on the PC, so the game didn't freeze. But I need to, be able to spend multiple skill points in one single frame, and that's just done by freezing the game. So obviously, if the game freezes, it has. I have plenty much time to spend multiple skill points. One more enemy, that's it. So, and now we can see whether or not this is working.
And the moment of truth.
It pretty much is working.
Yay!
So, you can't see anything now because I'm just... that was too long. That's nothing. Actually. Come on, game. Don't do that to me. Now we're speaking. So I have to do it a little bit slower than I normally used to do it. That's okay. So what happens here? I have one left skill point, and I'm actually spending multiple skill points in one single frame. Now what that does is the game makes the whole calculation for skill points one frame after I spend them. So, however, it can make the calculation multiple times in one frame. So if I spend multiple skill points in one frame, the game does the calculation in the next frame multiple times. So it checks whether or not I have one skill point left. Yes, I do. So it subtracts one from the skill points left and adds one to the skill that I just put my skills into. So by doing this multiple times in one single frame, it actually spends more points that I have, and the number of left points cannot be negative. So I end up having more skill points than I should have for my current level.
Do you max all the skills, or?
No, I only max the ones that I need. I actually need this one, the Trance of Wrath. That's a pretty important skill for getting to level 8. Because the Trance of Wrath is... it's actually a damage aura that damages all enemies that I walk past. And it's just convenient to just walk by the enemies and get the free experience. It deals a lot of damage because it's obviously not designed to be used at level 2. So I have all the skill points I need, and let's make some stat points. That works as well.
So you're just pumping up your strength or your... What do you pumping up?
I normally pump up all stat points. Dexterity I normally use for the defense. There's a stat called defense ability, and well, there are two stats: offense ability and defense ability. And the game calculates the evasion rates or crit rates on the offense and defense abilities of you and of the enemy. And basically, having a high dexterity increases both offense and defense ability. And so we have a high evasion rate and a high crit rate, which is kinda neat. So it's good to have some dexterity at least. We won't really need that much dexterity. I just need to redo it a bit. We need some dexterity, we need some strength, some intelligence. Not that much strength and intelligence, and we need some health about... I guess I will go for like 5k, and that won't work, I guess. Yeah. So the freeze behaves a little bit different from what I'm used to, so that could... yeah, it could be a little bit annoying to get the points down. Because normally it doesn't freeze for that long after I release the print screen button. So that's enough at dexterity, and we will do strength and intelligence later. I actually didn't make this one. That's a really important skill. How could I miss it? It increases the movement speed, so we obviously need a ton of movement speed because most of this is for the movement speed.
So you say speedrun is about going fast?
If you say so. Well, I don't know it.
You don't know speedrunning, that's for sure.
Monsters are rampaging all over.
Did you really think I know something about speedrunning?
No.
I can't even get my my strats down on the first.
Strats.
Yeah, strats. I mean, actually, there's not a glitch. It's just a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah. Okay. The poor children.
It's really good that you say the poor children, because now I know that you know it.
Yeah, I know the movie and the series.
Also the book?
No, I never read the books. Unfortunately.
Who reads books anyways, right?
I can't even read. I'm just trying to pretend.
Now some things get a little bit obvious. Now I understand some things here.
Quick question: when you make you're pumping up the stats of yours, is there a max or can you do this technically unlimited?
I actually have not yet reached a limit. I've heard from another guy just yesterday who said that if you pump up your stats rather high, you somehow get one-shot by like multiple enemies just in the normal difficulty with like some crazy amount of HP, so you shouldn't be able to get one-shot with these. So maybe it reverts to a negative number at some point, but I have no clue. I have not yet met any max. We also won't go for the max. We just do what we need. And I guess I got some intelligence here.
I'm just thinking about putting here a bad pun about your intelligence, but I'm not. No.
Nope. Okay. So we're actually level 6. Ah, let's get a Shrine of Experience. It's always good. Normally I don't do that, but I pumped up the Trance of Wrath rather late, so I didn't get that much experience yet. So I have to fix it in some way. Normally it would be good if I hit level 8 before the Gargants. So the Parnas monster camp. Yeah, for those who know the game, this is actually the anniversary edition. I'm just using the old Titan Quest layouts. The anniversary edition was released in 2016 in August. And it's a pretty nice overhaul of the whole game. It's the whole game including the expansion set, the first expansion set, Immortal Throne. And that's pretty interesting because no one really expected the anniversary edition to come. And it's pretty nice that it came. Because the original game had some balancing flaws, and it had a lot of small, tiny bugs. Actually, there was a skill that just didn't work at all. It was an expansion for another skill that should give this skill some bonuses. But these bonuses, you had no chance to get these, actually. And so there was a pretty popular fan patch, made by the community, and they fixed all these little tiny stuff, and they did some smaller balancing, but they didn't want to do really big balancing things. And the interesting stuff is that the anniversary edition is actually not based off the latest release of the base game of Titan Quest and Titan Quest Immortal Throne, but it's actually based off the fan patch.
Nice.
So they just took all the adjustments and bug fixes that the fans made and improved the balancing by, in my opinion, a really good amount. And they made a really good balancing there. For example, you were not able to play a character with poison damage in the base game unless you had some crazy good equipment, because the poison and the bleeding damage were the only two damage types that did not scale with any stat. Normally you get some extra damage by increasing a stat, and poison and bleeding did not get increased. However, they fixed it, so these two stats now get more damage with more dexterity. That's one of the major balancing things they did, and I pretty much like it. It's some really nice adjustments they made in the anniversary edition. And on top of that, they did another thing that no one really expected. They even released a full expansion pack for the anniversary edition, Ragnarök, which came out in November last year. So it's just some months old.
Hold on a second. They made an anniversary edition, and for this anniversary edition they made add-ons.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And to be honest, officially you call it a DLC. But I actually don't want to call it a DLC because it is just a plain old good expansion pack like they were used to be in Titan Quest Original, Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, some kind of these expansion packs. And that's really cool. In pricing, content, it's pretty much that.
Getting content for the money feels good.
Yeah, actually it does. So let's just club down these Gorgons. And let's see what we get here. We need some loot here. Okay. So that's good, and we need this one.
I can't believe I let them.
And let's just increase the rest of the skills that we need. We need the takedown, we need pretty many hunting skills. Because hunting is a pretty strong mastery.
What does it actually do?
Hunting is the mastery for like everything that is ranged, for ranged attacks, non-magical ranged attacks. So the bow, actually also a bit for the spear, but that's pretty weak. And you can really get a ton of damage for ranged characters. On top of that, it's pretty good for the speedrun because it has one of the 2 skills that give the highest permanent movement speed bonus, being here the trailblazing. I will get to that skill in a second. Trailblazing, and in the Dream Mastery there's one other skill. That are the only 2 skills that give more than 10% movement speed. So I just need some more skill points. Yeah, that looks like a good amount, 89. So now the trailblazing, and let's just put it on. Art of the Hunt, and just go for it.
Go because you're faster.
I actually did too many skill points there. I overshot it a bit. We don't need that many skill points. Okay, now we got it. Everything we need. So now let's get the takedown. Oh yeah, by the way, sorry if the video is a bit stuttering. It's sadly quite normal for the Titan Quest run, because you saw what happened as I didn't have a PC that just manages to get the game running. So if there's a bit more on the screen, I might get some FPS drops, sadly. But we can't get it to run smoother.
Technically we can, but then you can't run.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So if you want to speedrun this game, just have a bad PC, everything is fine. You will just do an instant world record.
Not technically. Not technically. You need... Yeah, that's the thing that I don't really like at the current Titan Quest route. Because you just need a PC that is not strong enough to handle the screenshots. Because that's sadly currently the only way to get the game freezing at all. And that's not really nice, because it makes this category especially just impossible for someone who has not a fitting PC. That is really, really bad in my opinion.
So technically, when you have a very good PC, you can start crypto mining in the background and start running, just to slow down the computer.
That's what you said now. Could be an option. You could do maybe anything to slow down your PC.
Deinstall the graphic drivers.
Might also work. So I just need this one. And let's get this enemy down. Oh. How about some more damage?
Nah, we don't need damage.
Who needs damage anyways? Come on, bloody prey.
Just talk to him. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So we need some more items. And we are just about to get to the most annoying part of the game. Farming for boots. There are two types of boots in this game that we're interested for. Well, actually there's one type of boots that we're interested for. And that's the boots that give additional movement speed. Because obviously we need more movement speed than this. And we actually need boots of journeying. There are three types of boots that give movement speed.
My shop is a shadow of its
And
good luck.
The beasts have claws and
We-
teeth, but you have fire. You have
that's good.
Zeus-like bolts to throw.
24% movement speed is actually the best that you can get. So that's some good RNG there.
Safe
I'll take it.
travels.
Normally, if I don't get the boots here, I just get to this revive fountain and restart the game over and over until I get the boots from the shops. So it's kind of lucky that we get it right away. That's a good marathon run. And actually it's 24% boots, and 24 is the highest amount that you can get in normal difficulty. There are three types of boots. The first one being boots of travel, which can give 7 to 14% of movement speed. Then there are the boots of journeying, which can give 17 to 24. And dropping only in epic difficulty, there are the boots of campaigning that can give 27 to 34% of movement speed. However, 34% movement speed would be nice, but we can't get it because it's only in epic difficulty and we're just running the normal one. And for epic difficulty you need to play through the game one time. So it's just like, if you know Diablo 2, it's like normal, nightmare and hell. You have normal, epic and legendary in Titan Quest.
We would have a new donation if we have the time for it.
Just go for it.
Alright. So, a new $5 donation by Manny2 saying, "Good luck to all the runners, and thanks to the boys from German, Rummel."
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, yeah, from now on, most of the stuff here in the run is getting past the enemies and trying to get the bosses down as quick as possible. And you might think, hell, he's made a much overpowered character. What is the skill in the speedrun? Well, you will see maybe in the later parts of this run, because it's rather optimized and I might die several times if I don't pay attention.
Then the trick is pay attention.
No. The trick is be good. Also knowing the bosses and knowing what the bosses do.
The bosses do killing you when you're not paying attention. I just understood the game.
Okay. You wanna take over?
It's fine. I just don't want to make you look bad.
Sure. I mean, technically you have now the best preparation for a run. 24% boots is damn good. Also, we still have the chance to get some Hermes relics in the upcoming boss, which would give a 29% boots. And I've talked about that the hero specs, the combination I play currently with Dream Mastery and Hunting Mastery, has the fastest movement speed, or has the two skills with fast movement speed. Trailblazing giving 18% movement speed, and I have to look up the English name for it. The Temporal Flux giving 12% in total speed, which includes movement speed, so it's 12% movement speed, which gives a total of 30% movement speed just by having the right masteries. Actually, there is technically a mastery that can give more movement speed, but that is kinda wanky to play, because you need... Well, it's the new rule mastery for Ragnarök. There's a new mastery in the latest expansion, and that one has a pretty interesting skill that gives you 42% total speed.
Okay.
As long as you have below 40% of your health. So you have to keep your health below 40% to actually get the boost. And that doesn't make the run that much faster actually, because the movement speed caps out at 166% movement speed. I'm currently running at 130% from the skills, plus 24% from the boots, which is a 154, which is a pretty good amount. It's not the best amount I have ever had. The best one I've ever had with the Haruspecs was 162. That was pretty interesting to have. And yeah, getting the 166 for free in the Rune Mastery is nice, but it's not that much faster, since the Rune Mastery doesn't have any combination with the Rune Mastery. Normally doesn't include the takedown, or it has the problem that you can't get fast to level 8 to get the second mastery.
How many masteries can you have? Can you have all of them, or just 2? Or
You unlock only 2 masteries.
Oh, okay.
So the class you play is always a combination of 2 masteries. Well, unless you decide to not choose any mastery at level 8, then you can just play with 1 mastery. There are some guys that do some of these challenges, like playing the game with only the hunting mastery, or even only the natural mastery. That used to be a real challenge in the old Immortal Throne version, because nature is... yeah, it's often seen as a support mastery. You have some companions that you can summon with that mastery. You have some healing, you can buff yourself with some more life, but it doesn't have any really strong attack skill. So it's mostly seen as a support, since in the Immortal Throne the companions were quite weak, especially in the later difficulties. They tend to get really, really weak. And yeah, so it was almost impossible to get through legendary difficulty only with a natural mastery. I've tried how far I can get. I was dumped in the epic difficulty in Act 3 actually.
How many acts are there?
Well, for now, what the Ragnarök says, it's 5 acts. I have to say it this way, because for me normally the Olympus is technically 1 act for me, but it is a really small place. It's just a revive fountain, a small path leading up to the final boss of the really original Titan Quest game, and the boss itself, and that's it. I've always considered it to be an act, but yeah, now the Ragnarök says it just belongs to, well, according to the landmarks, it just belongs
The previous.
to Actually, they put it together with the not the previous, but the one after it.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's by the way, that's very good. It's a mastery shrine. The mastery shrine boosts all our skills by 4, and now we have all our skills at, yeah, for example, 16 of 12, and that's also gives us some additional movement speed that you might notice.
Are these dungeons random generated or are they set?
What?
Are these dungeons random generated?
No.
Okay.
The maps are always the same. That's some nice thing for Titan Quest, that the maps remain the same. So I normally know what I'm up for.
Normally.
Normally, yeah.
But what is normal in this world?
I don't know.
This was life-changing.
I was thinking about opening a philosophy discussion now, but I think we don't do that.
Would be a never-ending story.
Yeah, at least we could fill a run with it. So I'll just add some more takedown charges. The takedown skill is pretty interesting, just to get some more speed. The takedown and 2 other skills are the only 3 ways to get above the 166% movement speed cap. Because obviously you get some more speed when charging on the enemy. So let's get back to Memphis. We need 2 items and we already have them now. And we can move on from Memphis.
Ah,
Just let him do his thing and
a mighty warrior from foreign lands. I'm sure you will find just what you are looking
sell some items in between. Did I just... No, I didn't. Okay.
for. Why this?
I was pretty sure that I didn't have a Hermes relic. Hermes relics give 5% additional movement speed per charge. Normally you at least find 1 charge. I didn't find one in this run, but it's okay. So let's just boost off some enemies. Actually also the spawn locations of the enemies are also pretty set. Just which enemies spawn and well, which particular enemies are in the group. That's random, and how the enemies move is random. So I know round about where the enemies are located. And when I know it, I can just use the takedown on them.
Okay. The number of the enemies is also set, or?
Well, not really. It's mostly a group. How the game works is they have a location and they have a spawn there at this location. So by the way, for example, I mean, they have a scorpion location here, and well, there always will be scorpions. But how many scorpions there are and what exact type of scorpions, that can range.
Yeah, okay.
So let's get to the boss of Act 2. Well, technically it's the boss of Act 2. It's the strongest enemy in this act. it's not the final enemy of this act, actually. They did some pretty interesting stuff here. By not being the... Yeah, technically it's the... also story-wise, it's the most important enemy in this act, the Telkine. The story of the base game is basically hunting down 3 Telkines. And yeah, we had one as the final boss of Act 1. We had now this one, almost at the end of Act 2. And we have one at the end of Act 3. Spoiler alert.
No, no spoilers. How do you dare?
Yeah, sorry. I'm putting spoilers on a speedrun. That's unforgivable, I know. I'm really sorry for it.
Yeah, we will have a serious talk after the stream.
I'm sorry, guys. Please forgive me.
Never.
There would be one more donation if we have the time.
Of course, we always have time for it.
Alright, thanks. So, new donation is $11 by Gordel, and his message is in German, so I'm going to translate it really quick. He says, "Oh man, something has to happen with the donations. We need more donations." Alright, thank you very much.
Thank you. And someone
Thank you.
who understood how this works. We need more donations to save more children.
Yep. So I'm just getting some more items here. I always want to split.
Sure, there's the button. Whatever you do, don't push it.
Nah, not now.
Basically, the tag Mr.Tiger makes the red button. So whatever you do, don't push the red button.
Yeah, we had that the day before yesterday. Someone asked in the chat if this particular button here is a nuke button. No, actually the nuke button is standing right there at the tag.
So if someone screws up, tack, everything shut down.
Yeah, he can do that.
Okay, I didn't expect that one. Okay.
Yeah, if he presses the button, this run is over.
This run was already dead when it started, but...
Well, we resurrected it.
Yeah, let's call it a resurrection.
Yeah.
The music in this game is pretty good.
Yeah, the pretty interesting thing at the music is there is this like one theme of Titan Quest that you're kind of hearing right now, and over the whole game they are altering this theme, but you always hear the theme through it.
Okay, that's nice.
It even extends to the secret area of the game where they have a rock choir version of this of this theme, which is pretty damn awesome.
Sounds great.
It's kind of sad because actually this version of the theme used to play in the during the credits. If you have played through the game a couple of times and you just finished the run with having the credits, then we had this this theme, which was pretty awesome to have there. But that's one of the sad things that they changed in the Ragnarök expansion. Now it doesn't work anymore.
Feels bad.
It is bad. It feels so good getting a new PB and having this theme played.
So just for me, I never played this game. What is the basic story? What is this game based around?
Yeah, what is the story in a 2D hack and slay type game? Hack and slay action RPG.
Your wife say you should get your payment and some milk.
Almost.
Ah, damn it.
Almost. No, I normally say it's not about the story in the games, in these types of games. It's more about the setting. And yeah, in this particular thing, it's yeah. I mean, okay, the story is basically just you have a pretty dangerous wave of monsters that appear all around the world suddenly, and one mighty enemy is responsible for it, and you have to take that one and his companions down. Right?
So a normal Monday.
Yeah, normal Monday for a gamer.
Okay.
And in this particular case, it's that's why I say it's mostly about the setting and not about the story, because the story ends up being the same in almost all the action RPGs, hack and slay types.
What? No. The story of Diablo is... Okay, let's forget about that.
You see?
But in... okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so the setting is... it's mythology, basically. They started off in the Greek mythology. Well, okay, they are a bit... they take some freedoms within the mythologies, and yeah, so basically the story in this particular game is you have the Titan Typhon, who is about to be revived by Telkynes. So that's why I say the guys of you that know the Greek mythology know that this is not really accurate. So they take some freedom there, but yeah, we just have to stop the Telkynes from freeing Typhon, who is locked under a giant mountain. And yeah, that's basically the thing. Actually, they take some more freedom by not letting the game be played in Greece only. The second act was Egypt, actually, and now we are going from Babylon over the Himalaya to China, actually.
Almost Greece.
Almost Greece, yeah, almost.
Oh god.
And yes, there are Yetis.
You dare to kill the Yetis?
I didn't kill them. They're still alive.
Better for you. Are these tigers at the Himalaya? Shouldn't they be white?
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know the local fauna there.
Yes, you should check this out after the run. So get on the plane. Berlin is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And
I'll just leave to the airport after this run.
perfect.
So actually they are mixing up some mythologies. They have some stuff from the Egypt mythology taken, and they have some stuff from the Chinese mythology taken.
And stuff from the writing books.
Maybe.
May I pop in some new donations?
1 second. I normally like this particular boost here. I didn't get it. That's unfortunate. There we go now. The interesting thing about the boosts is you can only boost to enemies that the character actually sees. So if you see them, it doesn't mean that the character sees them. However, somehow these boosts work here on the Chinese wall. Yes, we are on the Great Chinese Wall now. Yeah, that's interesting. And I guess we have now time for some donations. I guess? Yeah, we have.
Alright, perfect. So the first donation is by Grapple. He donates $3 and says, "The story of Titan Quest involves you trying to win a bet you made with Zeus that you couldn't run from Greece to China in 3 days. If you win, you get a really cool walking stick and 3 loaves of bread."
Yes.
Is that actually correct?
Really? Okay.
Yes, it is correct, of course.
So this is not the story of Diablo. So, you're lying to me.
Okay, this bridge that I just crossed is... I don't know what kind of troll this bridge is, but it happened to me twice, so it cannot be coincidence. I just walked over the bridge and ended up clipping through the bridge, landing in the river, and I didn't get out of that. I don't know how it appears, why, but it's just...
There.
I don't even know how to describe the feeling when you just are in a very good run and suddenly you just drop through the bridge.
Oh, I can do this in one word. Defeated.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. So it happened 2 times already. And always 2 times it was a good run. It was a really good run, so this bridge is legitimately my worst run killer.
Maybe you were too fast.
I didn't pay the bridge toll.
Little John would be upset.
Yeah. So, if you're wondering why I'm not boosting right now, it's rather difficult to get the boosts in the downward direction, because you have less space to boost, and you normally have to cancel a boost before you reach the enemy, because if you reach the enemy, then there's an attack animation, because that's actually an attack skill that I use there. And I don't want to see the attack animation because it's rather slow. And I don't want to stop at all actually, so I have pretty short time to get a boost, which is still faster than walking. Yep, that was the attack animation.
I didn't sort. Do it again.
Here we go.
Yeah, it seems slow. Don't do this.
You tell me now? I just did it.
I'm just trying to help, to make you faster.
Oh, that's how it works. So, normally you're supposed to go from this place to through this way, and you end up getting to the town where we just were. To get back to this town through a different way. However, since we know that we will get back to this town, we just take the fast route, obviously. That's why I activated the waypoint earlier. So, normally now that's the point in the game where it starts to get a bit more challenging for the runner, because now the enemies have enough health to just survive the Trance of Wrath. And they start to deal some damage now. The most reason why they can deal some damage is I still have the equipment from Act 1, and that won't change for a long time until the end of the run.
Okay, quick question there from my side. If you would pump up your stats any further, wouldn't this deal more damage to the enemies? To the skills?
Technically, yes. The thing is, you normally need not only the stats. To get a really good amount of damage, you not only need stats, but you also need good equipment. And we're totally lacking in equipment here in the run, because getting equipment is kinda slow since you're not allowed to use the shared stash, obviously. So that every runner has the same chances. Oh yeah, upcoming now is the final boss fight, and you just happen to see that the third Telkine, Freeze Typhon. And actually you can boost there, but you cannot boost on the Telkine, because that one is locked during the animation. Funny enough, you can boost on Typhon. I just think they didn't expect it. Also, shoutouts to walking over a bridge that is falling down afterwards. So these enemies are kinda nasty because they can slow you down. So I just want to boost away from them as soon as possible. And attention, it might get loud.
What? I didn't hear. This was so loud.
Yeah, sorry. I should have said it earlier.
What?
For somehow these Cyclops just are really annoyingly loud. And by the way, that was the final boss of the game, of the base game.
It was louder because it's more tension.
Yeah.
It's more tension.
Yeah.
And we all know louder is more intense.
Yes. So actually we are in the first expansion set of the original Titan Quest, Immortal Throne now. And yeah, that's a pretty interesting... It's a pretty interesting factor. I just realized it during one of the runs. So there's this particular scene in Act 2 where you have to find the Tomb of Ramses. And the second Telkine is actually in the Tomb of Ramses. And you are in the Valley of Kings. And you have to search for the tomb. Well, I knew where the tomb is, so I just walked to it. But there are several more tombs there. And many people say that Titan Quest is a pretty damn copy of Diablo 2. And it wasn't really helpful to have this particular scene because it might remember some people that know Diablo 2 to some other scene that is happening in Diablo 2 at the end of Act 2, where we also have to search for the right tomb. Coincidence? I don't know. So what's interesting now is that we have this act in Immortal Throne. The expansion set Immortal Throne was released in 2007, and basically the story of this expansion set is that the god of the death and the god of the dead people is going crazy. I'll leave that just for the chat to maybe name another game where this is the case for the expansion set.
Chat, we are counting on you.
If someone here knows it, just let me know.
Everyone's quiet.
We have a small delay, so it might take a while.
Yeah, of course.
I'll let you know. Meanwhile, we'd have another donation if we have the time for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so $60 from AAE, and he says, good luck with the run. Waking up on my birthday and seeing Titan Quest being speedrun. Feels good, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I just took a glance of the to the chat there, and I think I saw the right answer. So yeah, it actually is Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, which is pretty interesting.
Wait, Diablo 3 has a story?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I missed that point in my playthrough. And we just forgot one important thing. Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, of course. Happy birthday.
Alright, happy birthday, yeah.
And please don't start singing.
I won't. Definitely not.
I'm glad.
You have it? Not since...
Yeah, but it's pretty interesting that first people blame Titan Quest for copying Diablo 2, and then we have some interesting facts or some interesting similarities between Titan Quest Immortal Throne and Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls.
Maybe they have the same story writers. And they're just throwing around the storybooks. You take this one, and you this! And oh, damn, we mix up. But maybe nobody noticed.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, in case you can't see anything here, I can't see anything either. It's mostly about looking at the minimap and just guessing where I walk. Funny enough, I've ran the old Immortal Throne version. I've ran the Anniversary Edition from the first release of the Anniversary Edition from the first patch. And I don't know why, but the fog in this section of the game always gets thicker with each patch.
Maybe you're just getting blinder.
I don't think so.
Or your glasses are getting dirtier.
Could be. So now we're at the I mean, I pretty much like what they do to the story of Titan Quest in the story. They are taking the Greece mythology and they are really doing some stuff with it, which is kind of funny sometimes. So we're currently at the Styx. In the mythology, the Styx is a river. Each dead soul has to pass. And you can only pass it by a ferry. That is run by Chiron. And yeah, Chiron it is. And here they build a bridge. And the ferryman is quite mad about this bridge being built, that he occupies it just. So the problem here is that the ferryman is here at the bridge occupying it. So he's not at his ferry and he can't bring souls over the Styx. So we actually have to get to the bridge and actually have to fight him to get over the bridge.
Yeah, they're taking his workplace. I would be mad too.
Yeah.
I really like this joke.
I don't even know whether or not this was meant as a joke by original design, but it pretty much comes out as a joke here.
A pretty good one.
Oh yeah, by the way, I've mentioned that I was not able to do the freezing. Before we had a chance to do the freezing via another method, because the world loader in this game is Yeah, it used to be rather scrappy, so when new parts of the world are loaded into the game, and these parts are really big, it was possible to freeze the game with that, so we could just load in a part of the world over and over, so we had some places in the game where the game automatically freezes. One actually being at the Parnas, which is right in front of the Gorgons, which are the first really bosses that are hard to kill. So we just arrived there in time to get the skill point duplication done there, and that's fine. However, they fixed it, so the world loader is fixed now, and the world loader has a lot more performance. However, for some reason, at this particular place, no, the stream is not dropping frames. It's the game. No matter how good your PC is, no matter if you're running this on a crappy laptop like I am doing now, or if you run it on a high-end PC, you always will get the stuttering there. I don't know why.
Because good programming.
Yeah, obviously the world loader is fixed. So that was, for example, a bad boost. Wrong direction and far too short. Did I just really say far too short?
I didn't pay attention.
Wow.
But chat is maybe able to help us. If we don't know anything, we just ask the chat, and the chat is always knowing everything. Or at least they can watch the last few seconds as a VOD or a clip.
Nah. It's not important.
Because you are embarrassed, it's because that's not important. Because of that. Gotcha.
What? Excuse me? I was focusing on the run.
Yeah.
That was pretty damn close here.
You're such a bad liar.
I know. And that wasn't a lie. Oh yeah, we are now getting closer to the Tower of Justice, and I'm actually running this on the Anniversary Edition, and I'm including the new Ragnarök DLC. Since the Ragnarök DLC came out, they did not change. They did only change one particular thing at the base Anniversary Edition, which is interesting, because they actually removed 2 whole domains in the Tower of Justice. So normally the Tower of Justice has 5 floors, or 5 domains, as they are called. And actually they blandly removed 2 of them. I don't exactly know why, but I can... Well, okay, it is a pretty huge, and it used to be a pretty huge area with the 5 floors. And I kind of got confused as I was opening the store the first time after I installed after I had the Ragnarök DLC downloaded, that I went into here and I was like, shouldn't this domain look different? Because now we're on the 3rd domain, which is normally the number 3 that we get to. Normally we would start at the 5th domain, and then we would get down to the 4th, the 3rd, the 2nd and the 1st, obviously. But I was kind of confused with being at the 3rd domain right away. But actually I'm pretty happy that they removed it, because it is a pretty big area, and it was almost too big in my opinion. Well, not almost, it was too big in my opinion.
Seems like we're the same opinion.
Yeah, the thing is, I also ran the Immortal Throne version of the game, and in the Immortal Throne version, you cannot speed up the game. I'm running the game here on very fast speed, which is only possible in the Anniversary Edition. Normally, I would. This is 1.5 times the normal speed that I'm running on, and imagine having only 2/3 of this speed and running through 5 of these domains. That's about 1 minute per domain, just of running. So it takes about 5 minutes in the old Immortal Throne version to run through this Tower of Justice alone. And you get the feeling that it's too big pretty fast. So also some pretty nice detail in this for this boss fight. That boss is dealing fire damage and poison damage. And in the old Immortal Throne version, he used to deal more fire damage than he deals poison damage. However, since they increased the damage of the poison damage, as I was mentioning earlier, since they did this, now he deals much more poison damage than fire damage. Which is kinda interesting, because the first time I ran this, the Anniversary Edition, I was like, ooh, damn, he didn't ever deal that much damage. And then I just started to use the Herbal Remedy skill, which increases my poison resistance. And I'm like, does he even deal damage here? It boosts your poison resistance by 62%, so it's a really high amount of resistance that you get there. And yeah, it just helps to run a lot to have the skill. And whenever I forget to activate the Herbal Remedy, I just get busted by this boss.
Surprise!
Yeah, actually the last run I did before this marathon run, I ran into the fight and I was like, oh hell, I didn't activate the Herbal Remedy. I saw my health dropping like mad and I just got it in time to not die. It was really close there.
Intentional.
Yeah, of course, it was intentional. No, it wasn't.
Hey, you just wanted to show in the practice room you were that good that you can manage to activate things at the right time.
That would have applied if it was in the practice room, actually.
I'm just trying to let you look good. At least I'm trying.
You're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Get some better excuses next time. Oh yeah, also here the frame drops are totally from the PC and not on the stream. So I have to wait here a bit. If I get some actors out of the... if an NPC actor is not on the screen, he might slow down pretty much. I don't know why exactly. But when I just... Oh, that's a lot of damage there. I think I have to do it a little bit slower here.
Surprise.
It's not really a surprise. I know that he can deal a lot of damage. I guess I'm rather low on... yeah, it's only 5k HP, so that's the main reason for it.
Bless you,
I could get some more HP, actually.
Other people go super safe at marathon and you're like, nah, I'm going risky. Just only in 5k.
I didn't go for that much HP because it's still not the type of skill point duping that I'm normally used to. That's why I didn't do that much, to not waste that much time.
If
So-
you die, you're wasting more time.
But if I don't die, that looks pretty awesome.
This is a marathon, and you know marathon luck.
You should have been there at the Tropical Freeze run yesterday, where I was like, oh, I accidentally dropped a heart and I took damage there, and it was like I maybe shouldn't show off now, and then it was just, oh, forget it, YOLO.
And you died.
No, I didn't die. If I speak on now, I might get a slap from F-Pole there.
I can hold him, no problem.
Well,
Do it, do it.
I want him to do it on the. I want to see him doing it on screen. So, not I died, the stream died.
Oh, shots fired. Is he getting there a fork or I think I see fire. Oh, okay.
No, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Don't shoot, don't shoot.
Actually, he's not doing anything over there.
He's thinking about how he can pay back this one.
I just was about to say, sitting in the corner crying. Damn it, he has weapons. And he's obviously willing to use them.
Please send help. This is laughing.
Yeah, he knows how to laugh at least.
Yeah.
I might need to take a break from the fight here. Oh, damn it. That's good. That's not good. Okay, I have him. I really need more HP there. Actually, it's not the HP that it's the dex. It's the dexterity.
You have to.
So normally we would stop the timer here if we were only doing a Hades run. So what you see now is the new add-on, the Ragnarök, which was released in November last year.
Yay, new things.
Yes. Normally that would have been it for a normal Anniversary Edition or a normal Immortal Throne run. Now let's get to the fun part. Since the add-on is rather new, it might be that I still don't get all the paths right. So I might get lost in some paths.
So you didn't practice enough.
If you say so.
Yeah, you just said you don't know the way, and if you don't know the way, you just didn't practice enough. That simple.
It also could be that I had other games to focus on.
No. That if you don't focus enough on your speed games, you're just wasting your time. That's simple.
Well, it's not like I have 4 games in this marathon.
That's not my fault.
And I obviously needed to practice very hard for Cyberdogs.
I'm just letting... Oh, okay. Please send help.
So I need to kill the enemies here also. Whee! I maybe should activate the Purple Remedy again. Ah, that's nice. So let's get back to Corinth. And that was the first boss, Ketos, of the new expansion.
Those Triton?
It must be you.
So
This wasn't even 5 minutes in.
yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty nice because there is a new category for Titan Quest, which is called the Accomplished Hero. And you can actually choose the option, when you create a character, you can actually choose the option to be an accomplished hero, which gives you level 40 from the start, and lets you start not in the original base game in Helos, but in Corinth. So you only have to, can create a character only for the new area. That's the accomplished hero. And some guys are have done some routing for a glitchless accomplished hero run, so the skill point duplication is not allowed, and it's pretty interesting to see them just going by the 2.5 million gold that they get from the start. They have no equipment, they just have the gold, and you just have to get Ketos down at the first. There are some strats to get him down as an accomplished hero, and it's a really good challenge to just create a character with items from the shop without having anything in the stash and trying to get it down. Because you can't train at all. And you can't get any equipment besides what you can buy in the shop. You just don't have the room to get any equipment.
Feels bad, man.
Welcome, warrior. I am
So here we take the shortcut back. Yes, I just traveled to a waypoint which was in the same town as I was. It's only like 3 or 4 seconds faster, but
Oh, I have to walk 10 meters. Let's do fast travel.
yeah.
Oh, the kitchen is 5 meters away. Can I have a fast travel point there?
That's a pretty lazy hero, right? Okay, to defend him, he walked pretty much. Well, actually, she, in that case.
Then she should get a horse. That's simple. One of the first animals we see is a horse. So, just take it and I don't see any problem.
Just as you noticed it, I just remembered one thing in the patch notes or the release notes for the Ragnarök add-on. Actually, they had a pretty long list of items that they added to the game, or of features that they added to the game. And the funniest one that appeared there was trousers. Yes, normally you you just have boots or leg wraps at the in the normal Titan Quest game. So there are basically in Titan Quest the Anniversary Edition, there are no items trousers. And yes, they made some. Well, basically they are for the boot slot, but they are actually trousers. But that's a pretty big improvement in the game.
Nice! You're already lost, or?
I'm not lost yet. It's nice that you ask, because it could be quite soon. That way it is.
You guess.
I know, for a fact.
I know, I hope. Oh, you hope you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I guess. No joking.
Pun indeed intended.
Yeah, so normally you just can get some help from the locations of the next revive fountains.
Your journey ends here.
Yeah, sorry, I just have to pass here.
You shall not pass. Oh wait. Oh.
It's so good. Oh, by the way, Ragnarök is also the first expansion of the game where you actually fight human enemies. So it's the first time that you have enemies that actually speak. Normally you just have some demons that are just babbling in their demon language, or you have any beasts that are just giving any noises like the boars there.
So you just turned into a murderer with the last DLC.
They are bandits. It's okay.
Okay, let's
Okay,
let's skip this point. This could be a long conversation.
well, technically they started this.
Oh,
We're
wow.
innocent.
So this is a pretty quiet place. It could be a good one to get on holidays.
It's the Visa Uplands. Look at it.
Looks like a bit like my home, just with some more trees. Okay, and with bears, and we don't have bears. I believe, at least.
Not anymore.
Not since I live there. I seen a squirrel once. That should be fine enough and count as a small bear.
A squirrel.
Yes.
That qualifies. And yes, lost number 1. There we go.
We add this to the count. 1.
Yeah. I just went into the wrong direction. It's not easy to focus on the game when someone is on your headphones there.
Okay, then stop talking. It's fine.
You really think you can manage that? Oh, he's trying hard. He's really going for it. I'm impressed. Dude, that must be 30 seconds now. We can keep it a lot longer, but I guess the chat won't approve. Or actually they are, maybe they are just annoyed of us and want us to shut up anyways. Oh yeah, by the way, the entrances are really nice. Now we get in. You can talk, by the way. So what we have to do here is we have to kill 4 mini-bosses actually. And they are spread all over this location. And yeah, the thing about these ones is they are all pretty strong. And I need to pay a bit attention on them. And I'm dropping pretty fast here. Ooh, I didn't know that he can make a wave at this location. It's actually the first time that I see him run away from this corner right there. So I didn't know that he also can create waves down here. Interesting.
Tiger, do we have time for a new donation?
Of course.
Oh wait, I need to unlock the laptop really quick. Alright, we have a $5 donation by Weser. He says, I'm offended, dance game.
Lifetime achievement. I've got Weser to be quiet.
Okay, this... We'll have a talk about this one.
At least he's still communicating with us.
I was thinking about writing a chat or making a donation, but... Okay, making a donation took some more time, but I think that's worth one.
Yeah, the bad thing is that I'm not able to see the chat actually, or read it.
Yeah, for this we have a host. I would have made some signs that you should look at the chat, but I guess I would look pretty dumb when I did this one.
Yeah.
We'll take an eye on it from now.
So, by the way, don't blame the tech for what will be happening in this area of the game. This area in the game is really, really non-performant. It's really laggy, it's almost awful laggy. And normally I can get away with like 3 or 4 FPS. Since I have something running in the background to make the lag
Even harder.
Yeah, I had to make the lag even harder because I had to make the setup working so that I can do the skill point duping, and that's pulling a bit of resources from the PC. So it might be even harder frame drops there. That's actually okay. It is the right one. So it's actually the PC and it is the game.
Don't blame the tech, blame the runner.
It's really nice, comfy, right?
Looks like every game on my computer.
It's almost fluent. That
just
was actually it was a lot better than I expected it to be.
I just wanted to announce that we actually reached $2,000 now.
Whee!
So thank you really much to all the donators.
Thank you.
You've brought something.
So,
Can it be true?
and now for some fun part, where we actually get the first death in this game, in this run.
Wait, this game is now starting to get fun?
Yes, so technically it is fun since, yeah, about mid of the Immortal Throne area. But it gets even more fun from now on.
More fun, PogChamp.
By the way, I'll try to get some more boosts there. But since I'm not that familiar with the area, I'm normally not getting that many boosts.
Are you lost again?
No.
Damn it. Good one.
If you had paid attention, you would be knowing
How dare you?
that I wasn't lost, because that right there was a boss. And yes,
This was a big pig, not a boss.
it was a boss pig. So let's get back here. I needed to get to the town anyways, but yeah, I actually died there. This is a pretty mean location, because the enemies are quite fast and you have to pick up one item and then get out of that. But yeah, you almost are never able to get the item and get out of there in time.
Know all I have thought about.
Someone said once, if you want to get out alive, run for your life. I don't even remember who said it, but this was just a quote I got in my head for this situation.
Where did this come from?
I don't even know. Maybe the chat knows. I did forget. I just heard it somewhere.
Somebody in chat already mentioned this game as the running simulator.
Yeah, it is a pretty long walking simulator, and that's why also the walking speed is pretty much the MVP in this game. Because you end up having... it doesn't really matter which combination of masteries you take. You can actually get the bosses down quite fast with like each mastery combination. So each class in this game can actually finish the run. It ends up well, maybe some people in the chat were thinking, oh yeah, it's obvious that he's taking Haruspex, that class is overpowered anyways. And yes, it is pretty strong. It got nerfed actually in the Anniversary Edition. It's still pretty strong, but it's not the reason why I'm playing it. The reason is just because the Haruspex has the most permanent movement speed bonus with the 30%, and there's no other combination of masteries that can top that, unless you can make sure that you are always below 40% of your maximum health. Then it would be any combination with the Rune Mastery, so it would be the Rune Hunting Mastery, since the Hunting Mastery has Trailblazing, which is the highest permanent skill bonus.
I'm catching a cold even when I'm just looking at the screen.
So it might get laggy a bit again, depends on how fast I can get these enemies down.
You said bit laggy. This is 0, maybe a half FPS per second. Yeah, FPS per second. Good job, man.
Yes. I don't even need to comment on that. So another thing that is interesting, they altered the map layouts here compared to when Ragnarök was released. They actually changed the map layout here in the patch, which threw me a bit off guard, because I actually recognized it during a run and was like, well, that's not how it's supposed to look. So let's see, are they? Oh, they are nice. So these two enemies went down pretty fast. I didn't mention it before. Actually, the Hunting Mastery has an attack skill which even prefers to have multiple enemies in one spot. So I deal more damage the more enemies I can hit with one shot. And yeah, so how it works is the marksmanship, the skill, it has two, there are two upgrades for the marksmanship. The first upgrade being the piercing shot, and the piercing shot just lets arrows pierce through enemies, so you have a chance of up to 60% that an arrow hits enemies that are behind the main target. The second upgrade is actually the scatter shot, which whenever I hit an enemy, there are small shrapnels flying away from the enemy. So the combination of these two upgrades is pretty insane, because if you happen to have two enemies sitting at the same spot and you're hitting both enemies with one shot, the shrapnels that are flying off the first enemy are hitting the second enemy, and vice versa. So you get much more damage than just the normal shot on multiple enemies sitting in one spot. So that's why the boss we had there was going down pretty fast on the second phase, because the boss is actually two little dwarfs sitting on one giant monster, and you kill the monster first, then the dwarfs jump off, and they happen to jump off to the exact same spot. So then I just can shoot them down with 2 or 3 shots, because they eat so much damage from the shrapnels they are sending to each other. So, by the way, the Ragnarök add-on, you might have guessed by the name, but it hasn't anything to do with the Greek mythology. The most freedom they take is that they put the Nordic mythology into the same world as they put the Greek mythology. So they are like, yeah, that's happening both in the same world.
We take a little bit from this, and from there, and oh, you look pretty nice too. We put it all together, shake a little bit, and bam, we have a new Titan quest.
It's just like it's just like a big mythology smoothie. You take some parts, mix them together, and then you have it.
Maybe it comes out good.
Yeah.
Stop the intruder! Taste my axe.
He didn't say that.
He said,
Taste my axe.
taste my axe.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I was actually, that's the first time I'm hearing this in the English version, because I normally play it in German, and I just switched languages for this marathon run, and I already recognized that some of these lines are used. There are too few lines for too many occurrences where enemies say something. So the time how many a line gets repeated is far too much.
I just get some flashbacks from Xenoblade Chronicles. Don't forget me.
Stop the
people who played this game, the second game, will know and will have flashbacks too.
Not only Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I mean, I'm really feeling that there is something in Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
I'm not familiar with this game, so I'm just can't speak for the second part of the
I
game.
have to bring it up because I'm really feeling it is one of the mostly repeated lines in Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
Is it in 1, 2?
I'm really feeling it, yeah.
Ah, okay.
So, this boss fight is pretty interesting. It used to be hard as Ragnarök was released, but after it was released, they changed it actually in one of the later patches, and all they changed was adding Tyr. Originally there were only 3 enemies in this room, and all of them are bosses. And then they were like, oh, it's not hard enough. Let's add a 4th enemy. So, we just fought Wotan, Freya, Tyr and Balder. And Balder happened to die, and if you know the Nordic mythology, you might know what happens when what reveals to be Loki kills Balder. That's actually, in the Nordic mythology, it's Ragnarök, the end of all things.
So we will collect all Infinity Stones.
No.
No need to explain.
We're just trying to stop Loki from now on. Actually, we're killing Loki, and that's all. No, we're not only killing Loki. Because we now get to know that Loki has made an alliance with the giants, and yeah, giants versus gods. You might know it from the Nordic mythology. I know it a bit, but I wouldn't say I'm that good in Nordic mythology that I just tell everything what it is, or how it is. If you're interested, you might look it up. Then you also get some. Yeah, you can have some fun in what Titan Quest takes as its freedom.
Like everything.
Ah, not really. It's actually accurate that the Ragnarök will start. Also, the Ragnarök is starting when Loki kills Balder. It's actually accurate. The thing that is not technically accurate is the
rest of the game.
No, it's not technically accurate that we were able to kill Balder. That's technically not accurate.
Inaccuracy in video games. Can't handle this.
Realism in video game. It's just like fighting a boss and totally not fighting it but running away from him. Who does it in a video game?
Me?
And by the way, that was a boss there.
Really? Wow. Hey, you're a boss, I don't like you.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because normally most of the bosses in Titan Quest are designed in a way that they have their own room. Or a similar spot where when you enter the zone of the boss, you there's a door that shuts behind you, and you can't get out of that room unless you defeat the boss. There are very, very few exceptions for that, and I'm pretty surprised that they did add another exception with that giant there. That's pretty interesting. Another exception from it would be in Act 3, the giant Yeti, where we also ran by saying hello and just leaving. But it's pretty interesting that they yeah, really have some of these enemies.
So the useless ones.
Not really useless, especially the Yeti in Act 3. That has its uses, but not in the any percent category. In the any percent legendary category, which aims to beat the game in all 3 difficulties, there we normally kill him. Well, I say normally, I haven't done any legendary runs since the Ragnarök add-on came out, because it would be far too long for me to handle, personally. But before the Ragnarök add-on came out, I've done some legendary runs, and I actually ended up killing this boss, because it adds a pretty good bonus on companions, and I'm doing the legendary runs with a companion build, actually. Because in the Anniversary Edition the companions are far more stronger than they were in the original Immortal Throne, so it is viable for the legendary run to do it with companions. But only if you... Ooh, Mimer's quite interesting in this language.
It sounds like you're in a mall and someone is doing is talking through the speakers.
Yeah.
Can someone please go to cache point 3? Things have to be cleaned in room 4. It seriously sounds like this one.
There we are.
So, Mimer, he is an interesting boss. I haven't figured out how to do the fast threads on him. He got changed by quite an amount in the last patches, and I haven't really figured out yet when he starts to really eat the damage I'm dealing to him. It's pretty interesting. So I just shoot him down however I can.
The trick is hit him hard and really fast.
Yeah. So Mimer is now telling us that Loki is actually in the land of the fire giants, and we then have to go to this land actually. Shrine of Thorns is not very good. You can happen to get a battle marker there. That would be the best option. Also, the shrine locations are always the same, but which shrine spawns at the location, or whether or not there is any shrine spawning at the location, that's random. So you can end up having no shrine at a location, but if there's a shrine, it's always the same location. So this boss might take a bit of time. He has really many HP, and the problem is we don't have our battle call, which is the skill on the one hotkey, and it's getting pretty loud on my earphones actually.
Should I turn it down?
Yeah, a bit please. Thank you.
You're welcome. 10 minutes before the run ends. This game is pretty loud.
Yeah. Okay. We have to kill this boss, otherwise here's a door that would not open until I kill the boss. So that's what I mentioned earlier. Normally you get locked in to a room with the bosses. So...
Tiger, the chat is wondering how you managed to run so fast. Could you explain how exactly you did it?
Okay, so most people are used to the normal speed in the Anniversary Edition, or the old Immortal Throne version. So the speed is something that is a sum of multiple factors. The first one being there is the option in the Anniversary Edition that you can put the game speed to... You can alter the game speed. You have 3 options for the game speed in the Anniversary Edition. And I'm playing obviously on very fast. So that's 1.5 times the speed that you guys might know from the Immortal Throne version, from the old versions of the game. The second factor being the fact that the 100% movement speed is actually about 10% faster in the Anniversary Edition than it was on the Immortal Throne version, no matter how fast the game speed is set. Then we have the movement speed skills, one being the time flux right here, which gives 12% total speed. There it is. Temporal flux. That gives 12% total speed. That means also 12% movement speed. And we have in the Hunting Mastery the Trailblazing, which gives 18% movement speed. So that gives me 130% movement speed currently. And additionally, we have some boots here with plus 24% movement speed, which adds up to a total of 154% movement speed for this run. And yeah, that's pretty much the speed that I'm using for this run. So yeah, if you're normally just used to... If you played some years ago, if you played the Immortal Throne version and you see now a run of Titan Quest, it looks crazy fast. Yes, I know it. But it's, yeah, totally normal to get. I could even get faster since the maximum movement speed that you can get is 166, and here you see 154. Actually, that just got taken down a bit. There was just a debuff from an enemy. So, by the way, we just killed Loki. Oh, we didn't kill him, but we defeated him. And there's one enemy left, and that is the leader of the fire giants, Zordr. And that's the one we're getting now. And yeah, as always, if I get some FPS drops, that's the game normally.
Yeah, we have to run this game on a shitty laptop because we need the game to freeze at some point, and if we wouldn't run on a good PC, we couldn't get the game to freeze.
Yeah.
So it's intended.
So there we are, the last revive fountain. I normally take it just in case.
But does it count as saving frames?
Good question. I have to think about it. Okay, now I'm able to... I somehow wasn't able to switch my weapons there. Okay, and as all good bosses in video games, this isn't even my final form.
And one more, and you're already dead. And one more, and you are dead.
Well, that's unfortunate. Well, actually, it's the final boss in the game, so I can actually afford to get wrecked there.
You were so good, this was almost a deathless run.
2 deaths.
I didn't pay attention.
But yeah, I already had deathless runs of Titan Quest. If you pay attention, you normally can get through it pretty well. Okay. Second round. The worst thing about dying at Soto is that I now have the battle cry in cooldown. So the battle cry gives me more damage and more attack speed. So it's almost 3 times of the normal damage that I get from the battle cry.
So if you die, the cooldown doesn't reset.
Nope, the cooldown doesn't reset. Okay, I got him. And time.
Suddenly Xoneris.
Suddenly. So yeah, that's Titan Quest. Sorry for having the technical difficulties in the beginning, but I hope you had fun watching this run, and yeah, that's it for me, and I guess we'll give it over to the next run.